What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Keith one-time Thurman. Keith Thurman says, I will be more than happy to challenge Terence Crawford 8 months from now this summer. I think that I have the style that can challenge Terence Crawford unlike any of the other fighters that he has faced. Those are the words of Keith Thurman. Let me counterpunch. I was thinking about that fight between Keith Thurman and Terence Crawford, and Keith Thurman does have a different style than any of Errol Spence, Sean Porter, or Danny Garcia. He has his own style. He can bang. And I think he would face some type of challenge to Terence Crawford. I didn't care for him saying that Terence Crawford wasn't a champion. I think he was just capping on that note, earlier, early last year when he was saying all this and that, when Terence couldn't get those PBC fighters in the ring. Now that he has and has stopped one, and a guy that hasn't been stopped, now we see the tables have turned, okay? But the only problem is with Keith Thurman, dude, you haven't fought since the summer of 2019. So how in Hades are you going to be ready to fight Terence Crawford in the summer without a tune-up, without anything else but this summer? He said 8 months from now I'll be ready for that to be my next fight. I don't think that's a good idea for Keith Thurman, and I think honestly maybe Terence Crawford might not even take that fight, because Terence Crawford is a guy that does have what you call integrity, okay? Because he thinks about circumstances, situations that wouldn't really justify him fighting a person, especially at a disadvantage. For example, he didn't want to take on Errol Spence after Errol Spence has been in that wreck, because if he beats him, that will be the go-to, and people would say that. Fanon and friends, okay, would say the same thing, that, oh man, he beat up a guy that just came off a bad near-death experience, a wreck, what have you, and teeth implemented and all this, that, and the other. That's why Terence didn't want to do that. Terence might decide to do that, go down that same road in this situation about Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman ain't fought since Pacquiao beat him, a 40-year-old Pacquiao at that. Okay, so we're looking at 19, 20, 21, summer of 21, now November. Then think about it, the summer next year, that'll be 3 years of inactivity. That's the same amount of time Tyson Fury took off for his mental illness, right? So why would Terence Crawford fight you, then only to beat you? You come in rusty with all this ring rust, and he goes in there and stops you with one of his massive, well-timed body shots, the same type of body shot that he hit Ndongo with and took him out of the game. And then the first thing people are going to say is Keith Thurman wasn't ready. So I don't really believe that, on top of he wanted to fight Terence Crawford last year, and guess what? He wanted $10 million for it. He was just as bad as the demand of Manny Pacquiao asking for $20 million to fight Terence Crawford. That's a lot of money to be asking for a guy that's really not even a champion at 147 now, ain't it? Counterpunch. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Keith Thurman calling out Terence Crawford, ready for the summer to take on Terence Crawford. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.